Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 191. And we're joined this week by Andrew Blaine, who is Andrew the Computer Guy. Andrew, where are you located again?
Plattsburgh, New York, as far north and east, basically as far north and east as you can go in New York State.
Plattsburgh, New York. Okay, got it. And how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Very good. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, unless you have anything else you want to go over, let's get right on into some computer repair jobs you're working on out there. Okay.
I wanted to mention that I got some new hardware since we talked last.
Yeah.
I used to have this Linksys 4-port KVM. I think it was the SVU 04 or 04.
Okay.
And the cables, I mean, it was expensive. It was like $125, I think, and the cables were $30 a piece. It was some ridiculous price.
Right.
And I had everything all set up. But the cables started going bad here and there, which they normally do when you twist them and turn them to use in the computers all the time. So I couldn't get them anymore. I looked on Newegg, looked on Amazon, and nobody could have them. So I was trying to find something that was good, but those were 4 ports, and I really wanted to bump up to something that was 8-port because a lot of times I usually keep my workstation on one of the ports, so I was limiting myself to 3. So I went out and I got the Iogear, and I don't think I have the model. Model GCS1758, and it came as a kit, and it's USB and PS2. If you get the different PS2 cables, I got USB cables, and I can work on 8 machines at a time. It's pretty nice. It doesn't have, or it does have the audio where the other one didn't, so it's nice.
Wow.
To have speaker leads on every line out. It's got 4 6-foot wires, 4 10-foot, and I'm just having a ball with that thing. It just works great. The only problem I had was with a Dimension computer I threw on the bench this morning, and come to find out all the USB ports were bad in it, and that's why it wouldn't work. But other than that, it has really good. It just works real well with all the computers that I'm working on.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it now. So you have, okay, so you have to use USB mouse and keyboard, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, how does that work? How does that work on computers that? No, I guess that would work on pretty much everything, wouldn't it? I guess that would work on pretty much anything.
Yeah, it works well. My concern was that so far I'd been using, because the latest Dells, or almost all the latest computers, seem to have just USB ports instead of PS2.
Right.
And I would use those. I think they were made by Bytech. They were converters that you plug the PS2 keyboard and mouse into, converts it over to USB. And I know that a lot of times I'd have problems running programs off of the boot. Like if I was going to do the Dell built-in recovery that they used to use a couple years ago, where you hold Control and F11 down, like when you see the blue Dell bar across the top, the mouse wouldn't work, keyboard wouldn't work, so I had to plug in a USB mouse. I'm not getting that problem now, and I used to also run into like SpinRite. It just didn't. I don't know if it's encoded or it didn't translate it properly. So if I hit enter during a SpinRite scan, and it would just kind of like go real fast through all the screens, or it was really acting funky. But for this, it does it right. It just works.
Huh. You're talking about converting. If you had a PS2 mouse and keyboard, you had a converter that turned it into a USB?
Yeah, because my last KVM was just PS2, and I had all these machines coming in that only had USB ports, so I had to get those converters.
Yeah, I tried them too. I haven't had success with those converters.
Some I had real success with, and the ones that I were using, I actually still have some brand new in the package. They're made by Bytech. They're B as in boy, T as in Thomas -2000. And those I found were the best. I got some other ones that were just like one hard plug that you plug into, and those just didn't work at all. I just returned them back to the vendor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I messed with them a little bit, but I think I got real cheap ones. So this KVM Switch looks pretty cool. How much did it cost?
I went through Amazon. It was like $390. Now I found other places that had it for $345, $350, but I didn't trust them. There's certain places, if their website looks like garbage, I won't buy from them because I don't know how long it's going to take to ship.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be problems. I know that with Amazon, I have their Prime account where you pay $75 extra a year, and everything that they have in stock that's available or eligible for Prime, you get free 2-day shipping. And the overnight shipping is only $3.99 per item.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I knew that I would get this thing within 2 days or 1 day, depending on however I shipped it. So it's $3.90, and worth every penny as far as I'm concerned.
Wow, that's a lot to spend on a KVM Switch, but I mean, I'm looking at it short term, but I mean, that gives you so much more productivity having that many machines you could line up. But
oh, absolutely, and I've been so busy lately up until this week that I've taken almost full advantage of it. There were times where I had all 8 ports used.
Really? You had all 8 used?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it didn't happen that many times. Most of the time it was between 4 and 6. But there was a couple times where I just stacked a couple laptops on top of each other, turned off the feature where when you close the lid it shuts off or goes at standby, and just went at it.
Wow. That's cool, man. It sounds like you're getting your money's worth out of it.
Yeah, it's good. And that's what I looked at it was as a long-term investment.
Yeah.
Just, I need to be up and running. If something happened, I mean, I can't just work on one computer at a time, and I can't go out and buy 8 monitors, 8 keyboards, and 8 mice.
Right. Absolutely. I like Iogear. I had a couple Iogear KVM switches, just 2 porters, but we use our USB. Our SD card readers are Iogear. Had good experience with them. They never seem to fail me.
Yeah, the ratings seem to be pretty good, so that's why I got it.
Oh yeah, good idea. Checking the reviews.
So it's not fully loaded right now, but if you want, I'll just go right down the line and tell you what I got going on.
Sounds good.
First is my workstation that just sits there. It's easy access. Second, Dimension 2400, and this is probably at the end of its useful life, as most of the Dimension, even the 4600, I think, is starting to go.
Yeah.
But it's at the point where I won't recommend a customer spend more than a couple hundred, or maybe even probably 100, 150 to get it fixed.
Right.
Customer had reinstalled Windows, but didn't necessarily know how to do it. And when I got there to their home to pick it up, it went immediately right to the blue setup screen, and then when I restarted it, I noticed that it actually went to the screen where you could select either the home installation that was already there or the setup, and I selected the home installation that was already there, and it came up with a DLL error, so I knew I automatically just needed to back up their data, reinstall Windows. So just a lightweight computer, just reinstalling Windows, backed up and restored their data, do all the service packs, put AVG on there, and give it back to them.
How do you back up their data?
I got in this case it's a PATA drive, so I had to pull it out, and then I have IDE/SATA converters to USB.
Yeah.
That I plug it into, and I plug it into my workstation. My workstation has a 1 terabyte RAID, 2 individual 1 terabyte hard drives rated together, and I use that for all my backup stuff for all my customers. So I just plugged it in there, used Acronis to do an image. Although in this case, I think I only grabbed a few different folders because she wasn't interested in having everything backed up. She's probably in her 60s.
Okay.
So I just backed up her documents, then I reinstalled Windows, and then through the network, I copy it all back over.
Oh, cool. To copy it back, you just use your network, huh?
Yep, just use the network,
Okay.
Copy and paste. You bring it back over, and then put them all back into their locations, Outlook Express, and all that stuff.
Are you ever afraid that when you back up their data onto your workstation that you're going to infect your workstation?
I listened to a lot of your shows lately. I mean, a lot of the shows in the last 6-8 months that talk about infections, and I don't think the infections that I see are spyware infections that typically don't transfer like that. You have to execute the file, and just by copying it doesn't execute it.
Right.
So I never run into that problem. And I've actually been really fortunate. I never had any of the